This one takes us way back. When we're looking at determining segment lengths in triangles, yes, we have angle bisectors here, right? So we know that this angle and this angle are equal to each other. But that doesn't necessarily mean that my sides are going to be equal, especially when there's no tick marks. So what do we do then? Well, we know that the sides have to be in some sort of relation from each other, because if this is an angle bisector, then we know each point is an equal distance away. So in this case, what we're going to do is set up a proportion, if you remember all of that. So basically, we're going to set this up as a fraction, and then we're setting this up in the exact same format. So the 4 is at the top, the x is right there next to it, the 9 is on the side, the 6 is on the side. So make sure you keep like top equals top and side equals side, right? So you want to keep them in the same format. And then if you remember proportions, all you have to do to solve a proportion is cross multiply. So 9 times x, and then 4 times 6, and then you're going to divide. Now, if you notice, this is not going to go in equally. So we might end up with some decimals or fractions. So we're going to divide by 9. 24 divided by 9 gets me x equals 2.66667, right? So hopefully you know, or you might not know, that this is 2 2/3. When it's 0.6 repeating, it's 2/3. And when it's 0.3 repeating, it's 1/3. That's just something that I've memorized over the years of doing math. So what this means is this length right here is going to be 2 2/3. So in order to type that in, you hit 2 in your keyboard, and then you have to hit the X, Y, or the YX button, and then put the 2 over the 3 and hit your check mark. Okay. It doesn't say it has to be a fraction. Let me see if it'll take decimals. So let's look at the next one. So again, this one's a little bit wonky looking, but you can see they're not exactly even. It's not exactly in the middle. And it's not really saying that it's well, it says angle bisector up here. So just be careful with these. If they don't look like they're even, it doesn't give you the tick marks or the proof, then just set up proportions. So I'm going to go side over 3 and then side over 5, right? So just keep it the same. So like we could have said this is the side and this is the bottom if you wanted to call it that way. Okay, so 9 times 3 divided by 5. If you know how that's the way that it works. If you want to break it out, you could do 9 times 3 is 27, and then 5 times x, and then divide it by 5. But I mean, if you realize that you don't have to do every single little piece of this, it'll save you some time. So you can always just cross multiply and then divide by what's left, okay? Or do the steps, whatever makes your brain happy. But that's going to get me 5.4 equals x. So let's see if it'll take a decimal. Yep, it took my decimal here. Now that was a terminating decimal, so next time it gives us one that's not. Let's see what happens. All right, so here we go. Let's clear this. So again, I'm going to set up my proportion. So I'm going to put 9 over x. And then again, 9 is on the side, 8 has to be on the side. So keep sides with sides and like top or bottom, whatever you want to call that. So make sure it's the same type of directional relationship. And then again, 9 times 4, divide by 8. Or if you want to break it out, 9 times 4 is 36, is 8x, and then you're going to divide by 8. But again, if you know you're just going to cross multiply and then divide by that, you can just put it all in the calculator and save yourself some time. So 36 divided by 8 gets me 4.5. And again, that's a terminating decimal, so it should just take it. There we go, green dot. So again, 6 and 3, and then x and 5. And if you see that, like that kind of helps me know that I'm keeping my ratios of my proportions are equal to each other, so it makes that easy. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 divided by 3 gets me x equals 10. Okay, so again, you can do it that way in your head or put it in your calculator, or you can do 6 times 5 is 30. 3 times x is 3x, divide by 3. There's nothing wrong with having to write it all down still. It took me a long time to be able to do it in my head. Okay. And even then, sometimes I don't trust myself. But, you know, that's the way it goes. Okay. This one, I'm going to do x over 8 and then 7 over 5. And there's no rhyme or reason. Like, I'll show you, we could have done either way. But we're going to do 8 times 7 is 56. And 5x, divide that by 5. And that gets me 11.2. Okay. So I didn't have to do it that way. Let me show you. You can choose whatever direction you want. It'll let me change colors here. There we go. So I could have went this way, right? Like, let's say I saw 5/7 first and then x and 8. I'm going to end up with the same answer, right? 40 divided by 7. Oh, maybe I did that wrong. 5 over 7. 8 over x. Ah, see, I didn't follow my own rules. 8 over x. And then that's going to get me 5x equals 8 times 7. So see, all it did is like flip this. So I'm still going to end up with the same amount. So you can just choose what you see, what relationship. I usually always just start with the variable. So either which way, it'll get you an answer. As long as you keep them in consistent patterns. That's why you have to do that. So let's do one more. I'm going to do x over 9 and then 5/9, keeping it the exact same direction. And then that gets me 9x equals 45. And then obviously 45 divided by 9 gets me back to 5. Okay. So again, let me show you that without making a mistake this time. I could have saw 9 over 5 and then 9 over x. Right? So that's still going to get me 9x equals 45. See, so it really doesn't matter as long as you keep them in the same directional relationships. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense and reminds you of proportion. So it goes way back to like middle school stuff. So if you need any more help, just let me know if you need to schedule a time. If not, you're going to have 10 points, get more math. Let me go ahead and finish this one out. 4 times 8 is 32. Aha, here we get a decimal again. Divided by 5 is 6.4. So that could get me 2/5. Let me see if it'll take a fraction. So that's going to get me 6 and 2/5. Yeah, so I can enter it as a fraction or I can enter it as a decimal, either way. All right, hope this helps. If you need to schedule a time, just let me know.